Hello, everybody. Look
Howdy,
look
howdy.
who it
What's
is.
happening?
The man, the myth, the legend in the middle right now. Jason Root is back. Let's
Oh, I'm in the
clap.
middle,
Yeah.
and you're see. I'm on the far end on my screen. So, cheers,
Yeah.
everybody.
No, you're in the middle. Welcome
Yeah.
back, guys.
Yep.
Cheers to
Thank you,
everybody
thank
here.
you.
Jason Test, right in the middle there.
Yeah,
It says
yeah.
Jason Test in his name. We were
Oh, it
experiencing
does.
yeah.
It's all right.
No, we're
Oh,
good.
darn. Here, I'll leave and come back.
No,
Yeah,
you're good. Yeah, we
fix
were
it.
experiencing
Don't
some
bother.
last minute technical difficulties, so
Yeah.
we persevere. That's what these
Yeah,
things
I
are
was
for, though,
gonna
right?
I was gonna do the smoked old fashioned for show on the on the podcast or on the intro, but like I'm already like 3 or 4 sips in because we had like pre-show like scramble mode right now. Like we need to get
Exactly.
Jason on. He's got no computer. We need people. Or
Oh,
we need. I mean, I thought I was gonna have
last
to like drive over and send my backup laptop over to your house or something.
right, right.
But
So
no, you made it,
apologies
man.
everybody for the test, but yeah, we were in a mad dash scramble at the very end here to get things in order. So
Yeah,
it is
but it's
what
good
it
to have
is.
you back. What would
I am a
We
test
persevere.
subject, so there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you are the test subject. What
What are we drinking on tonight? I see Jason's already poured up.
yeah.
It is our first official show, so I had to
Something
break
really
out the
good.
Eagle Rare. So
Nice.
There you go.
I went
Cheers
I
to
went
that.
to the I went to my short supply that's running even shorter by the day, but this was a special occasion. So
Nice.
There we go.
Cheers
Good
to
deal.
that. How about you,
I'm going
what
Cody?
do you
with
guys
the-
got?
Oh, going with the Old Forester 1920.
Nice.
Not much left of it, but I'm gonna enjoy what's left. what
Excellente.
What
Yeah.
What
are
do
you
you
been
got
into,
going,
Andy?
I've got just like I was mentioning earlier, I got the smoked old fashioned with boulet, as we learned from the last podcast episode. Those that were anybody was around for that. It's I'm just gonna keep calling it bullet because I refuse to call it boulet. But apparently, my wife said that somebody on the internet corrected us all as saying that it's pronounced boulet. But I got a little bit of the Three Floyds in the backup reserve too. So
Ah, there you go. There
There
you
you
go.
go.
Very nice.
the
So
backup.
John in the chat says, "Guy in the middle is my favorite." I see that Pat's helmet. So do you want to explain that a
Oh.
little bit there, Jason?
Yeah, so this is going to confuse a lot of people. So if you see over my shoulder, yes, there is a Pat's helmet, but I'm also wearing a Bears shirt, and that's for good reason. If you notice, well, my other hand, you notice right about there in the middle of the flying Elvis is an SE. That is for my son's team for South Elgin. So yeah, so all those kids, you might notice a little bit of the signatures on the helmet there. They all signed it because it was my last year head coaching for that team. So
There you go.
it's has a little nostalgic value to it.
Yeah.
But every time I get on a meeting, someone says the same thing. So you're not alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
You
guess
guys all-
probably not a bad idea to do a little bit of a background. We've been just a little bit. We've been doing this podcast for a few months now, specifically just to kind of iron the kinks out. We've all worked together. We have a history of working together for over a decade. So back to my times when I lived in Chicago, Andy and Jason still live in Chicago in the suburbs. So we have over the years always connected over sports and just general fatherhood. And just, we would have these conversations all the time anyways. So we're like, well, why not just, let's just throw a podcast together. Just, I know we're not the only ones that talk like this, that have these conversations. So, but we wanted to go about it a little different way, which is where the name Just a Bit Outside comes from. Is we didn't want to have to be slave to the traditional podcast and all you can talk about is sports. We're going to talk about whatever we want. So that's why we talk about
politics
bourbon.
and heavy metal bands.
Yeah,
That's what,
yeah,
you're gonna
right.
get a lot of that. Just so you guys
And a lot
know.
of religion. And
Yeah.
we covered all the gamut.
all the easy conversations. No,
we
but,
will not.
yeah.
We keep it light here. We keep it PG, and we try not to piss anybody off. So that's first and foremost. But thanks to
Well,
everybody for
let's be
joining.
honest. This is all for our own fun and edification.
Right.
So yeah,
Exactly.
if you're all listening, we appreciate it. But we're going to be doing this anyways, regardless.
Yeah,
Jason,
yeah.
how is Bibbidi Bobbidi Land?
Oh, it was good. It was good.
Yeah, that's Italy, I think, right? I believe that's the translation.
Jason just recently got back from 2 weeks in Italy, and from the pictures I've seen, I don't blame you for not wanting to come back.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous.
For a minute there, my brain had to, having 3 children, my brain had to register. Is he talking about Disney World?
Yeah.
So I wasn't.
Bibbidi Bobbidi Boop. No.
The Bibbidi Bob Boutique, all that kind of, no, the Bibbidi, no, definitely talking about Italy. Yeah. So, because I look completely Italian, right? So, but no, it was awesome. And I have a lot of close relatives there, and it was great seeing them. I haven't seen some of them in 20 years. So it was nice to reconnect with them. And it was a graduation gift for my son, who is graduating high school, which is just mind blowing all in and of itself, which is crazy, which many of you knew him when he was little. So it's crazy watching him grow up. But yeah, so that was a gift to him. And he's probably going to do some study abroad there now. So that's going to be pretty cool.
Nice.
There you go.
Yeah,
John making fun of me for, I've only been wearing red shirts lately because it's, like I've been saying, hot as the surface of the sun, just more humid. So
I see that, man. You got a little bit of the taco meat hanging out too.
I'm telling you, it's there. We played golf today where there was literally 12 of us, and we did 4-man scrambles, and we all just lined up our tee times back to back to back. I sweat through my shirt like a hole and a half in. Like I was already pretty wet, but like just absolutely disgusting. So
wet t-shirt
shenanigans were had by all, but
I give you mad credit for doing that just to begin with.
Yeah, no thanks.
The clubs would be flying out of my hands.
Yeah, yeah, it was a good time. It also helps that when you have better golfers than you, it makes the whole round easier when you're doing scrambles. So they put up with my shenanigans for the most part. But when you have 12 guys on one hole, the chirping was top notch. So
it sure sounds like
it was a good.
Do you guys have any fun like house rules when you play?
So we kind of mix it up every time for the most part. We did a draft this time, so there were 3 captains, and then they drafted. You're looking at the first pick in the first round of the not captains. Horrific mistake. Really nice. So the guy who picked me, he's like, I'm picked in the all vibes team. So we definitely had more fun than anybody else. We did not win though. As much as Matt tried to carry us, I'm sure his back's hurting right now. But we definitely had the most fun.
I saw an interesting. I'm probably gonna butcher this, but it was. I think I'll get it in spirit. An interesting house rule for golf was like, on your birthday, you have to knock back like something horrible, like Zimas or something like that. For every Zima you can knock back, that's how many you could take off your final score at the end or something like that.
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of cool.
That's a scary decision in this group specifically, because there are a couple who they can throw them down. So I've seen somewhere if you all the beers that you finish, you can stack up, and that's your gimme. So the more beers you stack up, the bigger your gimme is. So
I don't know these rules, but I like these rules. I like these rules. I think I do well.
They help. They help. So the softball team's in here, so appreciate the support, fellas.
Yeah, doing well is a little bit of like, I mean, in golf, does anybody really truly do well unless you're like a scratch golfer?
It's definitely
just makes you get through the round with a little bit more fun, I guess. But
for sure, you got to find ways to balance it out. But
Andy, we got to kick our games back on here, so we got to get back at it.
Yeah, for sure. I've been out like a couple times, and I think I got maybe through, I'd say about 15 holes or so before I was like, F this.
Yeah. Well,
but like on the plus side,
it's real hot.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't even. No, I'm not talking about heat. I'm just talking about F this. My game sucks. But like, I will say
that's because I wasn't there giving you shit the whole time. So
well, right. Yeah. I play better under pressure.
Helps.
Yeah, that's right. That I need somebody like Happy Gilmore just coming out of the woods. You suck, jackass.
Yeah.
Bam, right down the fairway. That's the key to my game. Yeah.
There was plenty of that today. Trust me.
Yeah. Yeah, but I do need to get back. I mean, I will say that, like, of the 3 rounds that I played, I feel like there was something every round that was clicking for me, which was like, all right, all I got to do now is, and stop me if you heard this one before, put all 3 aspects of my game together, and I'm going to have a pretty decent round.
Yeah.
Nice.
That
Yep.
never
That's
happens.
the thought process, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So far, I've not
Starts
figured it out. So hence the scramble.
Most of us haven't. So
Yeah.
Jason, did you
cool.
did you go to Luxardo in Italy at all?
No,
I don't even know if I know what I'm talking about, but is that that's a place, right?
I don't know if it's a. Hang on.
It's a place. Please tell me it's a place.
It's a place. It's a thing.
I don't want to make that kind of mistake on the first stream.
So yes, it is a place. Well, it's in Padova.
Region?
Yeah, it's in a region.
Yeah.
I will try and say the actual city, but you know what? No, I'm not going to, because there's a lot of rolling R's and some GLs
All
that
practice,
if any
man.
Italians out there know are very hard to pronounce. And while I have been getting very good at my Italian, I will refrain from ruining the first podcast with that. But
fair enough.
But yes,
highly doubt it would be.
Yes.
But yeah, well, that's why I was asking. I was like, the only cherries I will ever put in my old fashioned come from Luxardo, and so I was wondering
absolutely.
if you
Worth
at
every
least
penny.
if you didn't go there, if maybe you had some there to see if they were better, any closer to the source or not.
I guarantee you they would be better. Guaranteed.
Yeah.
For sure.
I don't know how much they can be much better. I mean, they're like freaking.
It's because they weren't jostled on a ship on their way over or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's like the ocean,
plane,
right? Jefferson.
Right. Oh yeah, Jefferson Reserve Ocean. Yeah.
Yeah,
the ocean.
That's right.
Yeah.
But
Bourbon's just better when it's sloshing around in the barrel and the sea for 10 years.
Right, exactly. I got to do some shout outs though for our maiden voyage here, right? So we've got Sean in the chat, we've got Dustin, we've got John, we got Harley in there. So appreciate y'all throwing up the chat. I'm getting some Snapchats on the side from the boys watching on the big screen. So appreciate y'all, fellas.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
we got some fun topics. We're gonna kind of have prepared tonight. So some of the big ones, just around the NFL especially. So we've got some. What are some of the top training camp battles that we guys are looking forward to? See how they're shaking out this year.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess if you want to start, go for it, because all my picks are all homer picks.
Yeah. As far as
training camp, like
the
for
training camp
else?
battles, yeah. So right now, I think the one I'm most interested to see how it shakes out is just the Browns quarterback room. They've got 5 names of B-, C+ prospects, and I don't think that they really know how it's going to shake out. So,
what are the odds that all 5 of them start?
I don't know. I mean, my right.
There's Vegas money out there on that.
There's got to be Vegas money on that.
There's absolutely Vegas money out there on that. I haven't looked that up, but maybe somebody in the chat maybe verify that for us.
Not all 5, but like whatever they end up rostering, I think there's a pretty high chance, based on what I saw of that room. I bet there's a pretty high chance that everybody they end up rostering come out of training camp ends up starting for them at least one game.
Yeah. It's.
So
I say that like I have any. I say that like I have any position to talk as a Bears fan about quarterback play.
You have we both have zero. And yeah.
We'll talk about draft disappointments later, but
yeah, right, exactly.
Speaking of quarterbacks, but no. So I mean, right now
Don't spoil it.
The quarterback room is Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dalen Gabriel, who they drafted ahead of Sanders. They still have Sanders, and they have Deshaun Watson.
Jesus Christ!
Like, how's that going to shake out?
What? What do you?
They still have $260 million guaranteed on Watson, so like you're not
and
getting
2 draft picks. Yeah,
right. So
this year, like, what the hell were they thinking?
Yeah, so I think that they're just as clear about. They have as much clarity as anyone else about who the hell they're going to start or what that situation is going to look like. But
yeah,
that's one quarterback. Yeah, that's one battle I'm looking forward to, seeing how this shakes out as we go through the offseason here.
Left tackle for me, Jason. I don't know about you. What left tackle? What do you think?
That's going to be a good one.
That's
gonna
the
be
We
Bears.
got for Bears, yeah, of course, Bears.
Yeah.
Now
But
this one won't be and not to shake
Yeah.
off your left
No, go
tackle yet, because that's a good subject too. But the tight end battle, even though it's not really a battle, and we're gonna go we're gonna go 12 man a ton, it's
Mhm.
still gonna be it's gonna come out as a battle publicly,
Of course it is.
because it's always gonna be a talent battle more than anything
I've
else.
said this plenty of times. You can play 12 man, but you can't play 12 man all the freaking
All the time, right?
You know, and like
So,
somebody's going to
Challenge
be
accepted.
left. Yeah, true. Yeah, I suppose that could be, you know, in Ben Johnson's master plan to just play 80% of downs in 12 man. But like
Yeah.
you can't, like, I just don't see somebody, the way, like, the offense in general, the way it's shaking out, somebody's not going to eat like they used to in this new regime. And like, I'm less concerned about them losing positions than I am the, you know, falling into the whiny baby, I want to get out of here type stuff. You know, like that was the only issue I had with Colston Loveland was like, I saw no real reason for us to jump ship from Cole Kmet. I like the idea of 12 man, but I feel like a Colston Loveland pick makes Cole Kmet a little like unsure, you know, and like, and it could be a good thing. Maybe he's mature enough.
Draft rumors out there, or there's been some trade rumors out there.
Yeah. And maybe it's a lot of just. I mean, guys,
It's all bluster.
It's friggin'.
He ain't going anywhere. He just got
It's
fired.
July.
It does look like we have a Lions fan in the
Yeah.
room, Caitlin in here. So if there's anyone that can tell you the
We were just
method
talking
behind
about
the
that before
madness,
We were just
Lions
talking
team.
about that before we got on the air, though.
We did pre-show,
Yeah,
so here we go,
yeah.
Cody. Here's your chance to
No,
crush
just
Caitlin's
like-
open dreams.
So yeah,
Come on, go tell us.
chip a
Tell us
little
what you
bit.
said.
on.
Don't just tell us what you said off camera. Come on.
So
What
one
were
of the
the words?
topics we're going to
Exact
talk
words.
about later is who are, as far as fantasy football goes this year, who are some of the
Bust.
busts or sleepers. And it's not as to if they're good or not. It's a where they're going based on their average draft position, right? And
Smooth
my
recovery.
bust was the offense or the Lions offensive players, strictly because one, you've lost your offensive coordinator, but two, so
Sorry.
previously you had, you know, like Amon-Ra St. Brown, absolute target fiend, all day, every day, automatic. You got Laporta on the other side, right? Well, with the adjustment at the offensive coordinator position and the emergence of Jamison Williams, there's not going to be this, you know, really heavy 1-2 punch. It's going to be more spread out, right? You still have a nice little running back duo with Gibbs and your boy,
Simon Contreras. Yeah.
and your boy. So
That's right.
I think that, again, that offense, love the Lions. And this is not the group to be talking to, because there are a couple of Bears fans, but like,
Right.
love the Lions, love the head coach. I think from a fantasy football perspective, I think there's not going to be this, you know, 1A, 1B, like just absolute powerhouse of targets. I think it's going to be more spread out. It's going to have to be. I'm really curious to see how the new offensive coordinator kind of shapes that attack. But I think from a fantasy football perspective, I think it's going to be, you know,
It's a pretty.
cool. You know,
I mean,
like draft them a little lower than you typically would, because I think it's going to be
Yeah.
spread out a little more.
I mean, I think that's a, you know, again, not trying to be, oh, I'm a Bears fan, so everything the Lions put out there is going to be crap. But like, I think that's a pretty safe call. I mean, like, let's be honest, even with a new offensive coordinator, even the Bears, like, I'm not coming out and expecting them to fire on all cylinders right out of the gates because they got a new offensive coordinator.
What are you talking
Granted,
about?
you know, same thing. Same thing last year. We had a new offensive coordinator too, but like,
Hope springs eternal in Chicago.
of course it always does. Well, we don't have
It's a
hard
blessing and a
knocks.
curse.
Yeah.
It's
We don't have
something
hard
that
knocks.
us and Lions fans have in common.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have hard knocks this time to get us all juiced up right before they cut the wind out from our sails or anything like that. But
Yeah. John,
But
yeah, no, I
threw
think-
out another really good, like,
Yeah, the
camp,
Anthony
mini
Richardson.
camp, Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones, yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good one.
I think
Very
that
good.
one hits close to home, because I obviously grew up in Indiana, a bunch of Colts fans that are friends. But I think this is pivotal for Anthony Richardson, or he's
Anthony
going to find
Richardson, it's do or
himself.
die. Mhm.
Yeah, he's going to find himself on the outside looking in.
Yeah.
But
100%. But
yeah,
no,
that'll be a good one.
but with the Lions too, being an optimist, because I do like the Lions, and I have nothing against them. And I do wish they right.
Yeah, they're my least hated NFC North team outside of obviously the
Oh,
Bears,
by far,
Yeah.
right. I think that's that. Yeah, there's a pecking order there, and they definitely come in third. So, but I do think they'll do well, and everything that we've seen from Ben Johnson in Chicago is that the dude is systematic. Like he
Yeah.
is
He's a surgeon.
tactics and a surgeon. Like, yeah, he is a
Yeah.
fiend. And I think if he knew that he was going to make this move well far in advance. And so if we know Ben Johnson based on what we've seen of him so far, I think he's prepared that offense and that staff to be effective right out of the gate. So yeah, like us, it's probably going to take 5 or 6 games to get their feet back under them a little bit. Yeah, but I think once they find their footing, they're going to be okay.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's going to take some time. And so like if you're looking at it from a pure fantasy perspective, how much time are you willing to wait, on some of those guys if they're going through 3-4 games in the beginning, not scoring any points? Like it's again, to Cody's point, sleepers. It's like if everybody were to subscribe to Cody's theory, it would be kind of like, okay, maybe some of these people start to draft them late rounds and hoping that they find their footing again and get back to the Colts or the Lions of last year. But I just think, in general, I think when you got a new offensive system, there's probably going to be some stumbling out of the gates a little bit as well. And
they're not going to be.
Will that be enough to like draw people away? I don't know, but like I'm with you that I think that has a very easy potential to be a fantasy bust pool over there in the offense.
Yeah. Well, you know what's going to happen. These guys, Laporta, all these guys, they're going to be sitting on the scrap heap somewhere, right, in free agency, come game 4 or 5, and everybody's going to quit on them, and then they're going to bust out come 7 or 8.
True.
So,
I like Caitlin's retort there. The Lions,
I saw that.
Like a food truck.
Tough, right?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, is it a Ford food truck? Because the engine's still built tough, but you got to change the driver. Yeah, that's great.
Right.
Looks like we got some of the chirping from golf spilling over into the chats. Got some batting averages getting posted.
and John, no, I'm not a Pats fan, but I'm also not a Pats hater, like many people. So I actually did.
He secretly wanted the Bears to hire Vrabel anyway. So,
well, come on. I mean,
you and I do not share that in common because I do not like the Pats. So take that.
You don't.
Take that as you will.
I don't hate them. That's for sure.
God,
but
I got so tired of it. You didn't get tired of just watching Patriots in every freaking Super Bowl? I hate dynasties.
Did we get tired of watching the Blackhawks?
Right.
And the dynasty day? Like, no, of course not.
No, but okay, we need to talk about neutral third party dynasties here. We're not talking about home team dynasties. Of course, I'm going to root for my home team dynasty. But but the Patriots were always the Bears were never exactly.
Hatred.
Bears were never, like all the years the Bears were not even sniffing anywhere near a playoff position, let alone a deep run in the playoffs, aka 2005 till now. I just wanted to see exciting Super Bowls, and I knew every time the goddamn Patriots showed up, there was a chance that it wasn't going to be exciting because it's law of averages. They know how to play that specific game. They figured out how to play,
That is true. But I'm probably going to get sliced in the chat for this, but those games were interesting. Like, I didn't feel like they weren't thumping the crap out of teams, right? And it was just Tom Brady's pulling stuff out of his rear that got him to win, and you had to respect that. I mean, that was pretty cool. Now, KC on the other hand is freaking annoying as hell. So don't put any sense to any of the crap that I'm saying.
Something we can all agree on.
That's fair. Yes.
Something we can all agree on.
High five to that. We can all agree. That
the whole thing, the theatrics, all of it.
The Taylor Swift crap. Yeah, I'm so done with it. Like, I don't want to see any of that stuff anymore.
Yeah, another cutaway to Taylor, I'm going to go crazy.
Oh
if
God.
there's one thing that Bill Belichick made an absolute living off of, was identifying your best player and doing whatever he had to do to shut them down and make you beat them with someone
With
else.
somebody
And it
else.
just
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
worked so well for so long. Like,
Yeah.
it's
for sure.
just
Also,
Well, it's
to,
it's gonna.
I
Be
learned
interesting
a
to
few
see what
days
he can do.
back. I learned a few days back and got reminded of this fact for about 5 days on Reddit. If anybody else is on Reddit. No,
Yes.
wait. Was it Bill?
Unfortunately, on
Oh
Reddit.
man, I'm second guessing myself. No, it wasn't Belichick. It was Parcells. One of the
Oh.
either Bill Parcells or Bill Belichick. Somebody look it up and tell me. Was the first to get the Gatorade dump.
Parcells.
There's a little.
I think it's
I'm almost
Parcells,
positive
right?
it's Parcells.
Yeah. Never mind. That was,
I can't see Belichick being okay with the
no, yeah, no,
Gatorade
that's.
dump.
What am I
He
even
didn't
thinking?
even
Yeah,
like
these-
sleeves
that
on
was-
his hoodies. That guy's
Right,
not gonna
yeah.
put, that guy's
He's
not,
not-
gonna put up with the Gatorade.
Yeah, he's
dump.
he's dating some 20-year-old. Of course, he's not that old. Jesus. Wait,
I
maybe
mean,
he is.
I saw her what is it? Her real estate portfolio went up like $9 million in the last year or something like that.
Well,
It's
now
like
we know the
crazy.
real reason.
Yeah,
Well, it'll
right.
be interesting to see.
Garbage.
I don't think
It'll
there's
be
ever any
interesting to see
question
what
on
he
that
does
one.
at the. It will be interesting to see what he does at the collegiate level. I'm genuinely curious to see what happens. Because I do think like him and Brady it was a once in a generation.
Yeah.
Good cop, bad cop, foil, whatever you want to call it.
Mhm.
That relationship was a dynamic that I think it's going to be written about for a long time. Like it's just something
of
about
course.
it. I don't know what it is. It was just, and I don't think it's going to work elsewhere. It'll be really interesting to see.
I'm expecting an Urban Meyer like just
Yes,
does not
complete.
just does not
dude,
mesh.
right.
No.
I mean, like I again, I'm not trying to focus on the fact that he's dating some young girl, but it's like, like Urban Meyer, he went back to college, and then all of a sudden he was on every girl's Instagram getting trashed at all the frat parties and stuff. What the hell's Belichick gonna do when he's his girlfriend probably can still get into half those
Right.
those frat parties, and like he's
Barely.
gonna show up with yeah well yeah, I mean, but
Yeah.
still, like, he's got creepy old man vibes to me, really.
I did not have him dating a like sorority girl on my bingo card.
Nobody did.
like Bill
No.
Belichick.
I didn't
going
have
back
going
and
down to
getting,
college
like,
on my
an
bingo card.
Instagram model.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
North
how is
Carol-
this
North
dude? How is
Carolina,
this
too.
dude going to do the recruiting circuit? Like, I don't understand how he's going to have the energy to be able to do that. But Pete Carroll maybe, because that dude's got energy for freaking days.
Mhm.
But I don't know about Belichick. He's got angry man old man vibes, and
Pete-
get off my lawn. And
Pete
I'll
Carroll
rip all over
is-
his face.
Pete Carroll is like the old patriarch of a family who invites you out to, like, his whole family out to ice cream every time. But like anytime he's at the house, he has to wear an Afghan over his legs before they get too cold. Like that's that's Pete Carroll to me. No,
Last picture I
Does
saw.
does anybody know
Belichick-
what I'm talking about? Like, it's not a reference
Yes.
to anything, but like, think about
Yeah.
it. Like, there's always that, hey gang, let's go out for ice cream. No, sit down, grandpa, put your Afghan
Yeah.
back on. It's the middle of December. We're not going out for ice cream.
Back in my day, I used to just hand the ball off to Marshawn Lynch and let him score. Okay, Grandpa, sit down.
Yes. Just let's-
That's exactly what's going to happen.
that's what I think of Pete Carroll. Like, he just, like, like, you could just put him out there. Somebody's gonna have to make sure that he cheers in the right direction. I think from this point forward, like, there's gonna be somebody whose sole job it is on the sidelines with Pete Carroll in Vegas to, like, angle him so that he looks like he's cheering in the right direction, so he's not like just off in the clouds.
Also
I
the
can't
camera.
look at that dude and not think about the first episode of Bad Lip Reading and just roll.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Every
my
time I look
God,
at that
yeah.
dude. Just
Oh,
so
that's
much
some
fun.
that's some YouTube throwback that just absolutely
ya.
dominated. Yeah, that
Right.
was
Some
yeah, that was
old
great.
viral YouTube. There you go.
yeah. Dustin
Cool.
says Reddit, the cesspool of human garbage. Yep,
It
I
really
know
is.
it well.
Yeah.
It really is.
It
like
really is.
the It's the worst of times and the best of times, but still like
Perfect.
the best of times.
You nailed it. Yeah, there's so
Yeah.
many good things I've found on Reddit. So many people I've connected with in niche communities that like you never would have found that stuff on like Facebook or anything like that. But like, because Reddit was the one that popularized. Hey, I know 2 or 3 people that really like to repair freaking washing machines. Like let's start a group, washing machine repair, r/washing machine repair. And now all of a sudden they've got 25,000 people that want to know how to repair washing machines.
There's literally a Reddit for everything.
There is. I'm speaking from experience. It wasn't my washing machine, but it was my refrigerator. I learned how to repair a very particular thing on my refrigerator from Reddit, and I'm forever thankful to r/whatever the refrigerator repair.
Whoever the hell that was.
Yeah. Thank you guys. If you're watching out there, refrigerator repair, thank you. Saved my family from the ice machine melting all over our floor for the 7th time in the week.
There you go.
Nice.
Any other camp battles we want to chat about before we transition?
Yeah, I was like the left tackle one. I'll just say again, Homer. So probably nobody knows this, but we drafted that Aussie kid, and I think he's got like a little bit of a dark horse shot to kind of. Dude's a freaking ox.
He's
man.
a specimen.
He's an ox. I've never seen like, and that's like he's a lineman, but you expect that, and then you just see the guy, and I'm like, holy crap! Like this is
he is a freak.
I see why you guys drafted him. Was he from like Oregon or something, like some podunk hay baling town or something like that? Like dude just sat there forking hay for like 10 years in a row and became a good like left tackle. I'm excited.
Whenever
I'm excited
I think of Oregon, I don't immediately think of like podunk, like middle of nowhere towns. No. Not when I think of Oregon.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, whatever.
It's more of a my hometown kind of thing. No.
True. Yeah. Well, yeah.
He's a BC guy.
BC. Okay.
Yep.
Well, BC. So Poles guy essentially. Yeah, because Poles with BC. He's still. Everybody says he still's got
Ozzy
connects down
Trapillo.
there. Yeah, Ozzy Trapillo. Yep.
Yeah, he is a freak.
That's right.
Yeah.
What's his stats? What do they list him at? Just out of curiosity.
Let's see. I don't see what they have him at. I just see what his fast facts. All right, here we go. Hang on. Oh, see, now we got the whole pod waiting for us here.
No, you're good.
Oh, this is just an interview. No, that's not going to work. Oh, no, I don't.
You got anything else? Well,
okay.
Yeah, just you can tell us later, but I'm asking you to do the dirty work. But do you got anything else, Cody? Any other battles, or you want to move?
I mean, I think those are the ones I'm immediately thinking of as far as quarterback goes.
I'm gonna look at Check's notes.
But there are some young quarterbacks I'm excited to see how they develop this year. So
6'8", 316.
Yeah, that's big.
That's a dude.
That's
a dude.
big. That is big.
Yeah,
that's a large man.
Even if you take whatever the 8 pounds and an inch off or whatever they markup is, like that's still it's a big freaking dude.
That's a big dude. That's a big dude.
And he can move.
This isn't and he can move. That is true. In the combine, he was impressive for sure.
Yeah.
Not
other
not
quarterback battles though. Another good one
Yeah.
is the Saints, because again, no idea who's going to be throwing the rock in New Orleans next year. I mean, between a Rattler
that is true.
As far as I'm concerned, it could just as likely be their tight end Hill. So
it could be
throwing the ball.
Could be Hill.
So,
Taysom out there and let him throw it.
Was Hill like what 30% of the time last year? So
I mean, yeah, that guy's a freak of an athlete, just randomly out.
He's
in the
fun
middle
to
of nowhere.
watch.
Yeah,
Everybody about that size, he cleans crawl spaces for a living. Get the F out of
Now
here.
now that's something I'd want to see. 6'8", 316 in somebody's crawl space. That'd be pretty funny.
Yeah,
that gives me anxiety out. Like I can't imagine.
You can't tell me that he actually purposefully landed in that role.
Right. Or he outgrew it one way or another.
He has a passion for crawl space.
For crawl spaces. What, did he watch Die Hard too much as a kid or something?
Right.
They must make him bigger where Hicks is at, because
that's right.
They're not fitting in any crawl spaces here.
No, yeah. I'm looking at.
That is true.
Yeah. I can
Having
look at
spent my
crawl
time
space right
enough
over there.
time in my own crawl space of
Started the
of my
company.
home,
Oh my god.
yeah, I'm sure he's just super passionate about a
Alright.
lack of humidity and
It is a very nice,
sealing
cool place to sit.
his crawl with no air gaps. I'm sure.
Goodness.
It is.
Oh,
it
he
is a
started
nice-
the company. He started the
That's what I
company.
said.
Look at that.
Yeah,
So
he
he
started-
does have a passion.
All right.
He does have a
Fair
passion.
enough, you
Well,
know,
he can come.
you know.
He can come up to the Northwoods. I have a crawl space. He could figure, and he could fit into it too. So
My dad
it's kind of
wanted to be a fighter pilot, and he was 6'4", and they told him no. So apparently, if you can be too tall to fly jets, but you can't be too tall to clean crawl spaces.
fixed crawl
I guess.
spaces. Yeah,
That's crazy.
technology is a thing.
I guess.
Speaking of, go ahead.
I was just going to say not a camp battle, but of course I'm going to use the charge word. But the drama around Rodgers in Pittsburgh will be interesting to watch, no matter what
100%,
yeah.
happens there.
Yeah.
So
Oh
that will be fascinating. So
That-
does the old man still have it?
No.
That will be interesting.
No, that was
to see.
I think that was the worst idea.
I hope Rodgers does what Rodgers does. I hope he sets that entire franchise back 5 years. Mind you, this is
Okay.
coming from a Bengals fan to a Steelers organization.
Yeah,
But
well, I was going to say, outside of the Bears, the Steelers are my second favorite team, so I do want to see them succeed.
Ugh.
But
I don't know
I don't know
whatever
if I want to see them
ayahuasca retreat he went to last year, but I
Mhm.
would gladly buy his next trip.
I didn't
just to let
finish.
him do
I
what
didn't
he
finish.
does.
Now that they got Rodgers, I absolutely want them to go up in a ball of flames. So
Yeah.
so
yeah.
don't
You have to.
Don't, I have to. I would I would get excommunicated from Bears land if I didn't say that. So
Yeah.
and I mean it. I mean it, Bears folks. It's okay.
does he still own majority share of the Bears? That last I heard he was own the Bears, something like that. What was
No.
that?
Hey Andy,
no,
didn't you
no.
program? Wait, didn't you program a dump
No.
a dump key in here into this app? I think you did.
Exactly.
Dumpster
So-
fire or something.
Dumpster fire.
Get the boot. Get the boot.
Yeah. Yeah. Mute for 5
Yeah.
seconds or whatever. We're gonna we'll
Like
go
around the
into
horn.
like
I get
around the
muted
horn
for,
exactly.
like,
Yeah.
30 seconds or something.
Oh shit! You just gave me a great idea. Yeah. Don't worry. Next week you bring up Aaron Rodgers and you're getting dumped for 5 seconds.
There we go.
Just so you
That's-
know. No.
There you go.
See, we're
Yeah, he-
already making additions to the podcast.
Yeah. There you go. Technology. Necessity is the mother of all invention. I need
It'll
to,
be
I need to stifle this.
Yeah.
This
anytime there's
owning
a
the Bears
Rodgers
stuff.
reference, you got to drink. You know.
Yeah.
right.
Well, this is a good transition because speaking
Right.
of setting back franchises, one of the things we talked about discussing are what are some of the biggest like draft busts or players that you thought had what it took to to kind of to
Mhm.
excel in the NFL and just never quite cut it. So
NFL,
I think that's a good.
Yeah, that's a good segue. I can't do all NFL. There's one in particular that I want to talk about, but I'll throw some NFL ones out there first. God, I'm such a freaking homer. I'm sorry, guys, but this is gonna. Rashawn Salam is probably, I think, one of my top
White.
3. Kevin White too, yes, but Rashawn Salam.
I was
because
excited about White. Yeah.
yeah, White was a big pick for sure. But I'm going back, man. I'm talking Rashawn Salam, the running back. I forgot where he was out of because I was just a little pup back then. But like, okay, I guess a little setup. Thurman Thomas was my favorite running back in the day. You remember Thurman Thomas?
Yes,
Thurman Thomas rocked. He was awesome.
Yeah. The dude was awesome. He was a tank. He just ran over everybody. He like I don't know why. I just kind of like glommed on to like not who you would think. Like yeah, of course I like Peyton. Of course I like Barry Sanders. But like Thurman Thomas, for whatever reason, I just glommed onto him. We drafted Rashawn Salam on the Bears, and I thought he was going to be our Thurman Thomas. And like we're talking like 7, 8, 9. I can't remember what year it was. I'll have to look it up. But 7, 8, 9-year-old me was just so excited for probably the first time I had ever actually paid attention to a draft as as a child, and I was so pumped. I forgot even what pick he was, but it was like top like 5. I want to say maybe, I don't know, but yeah,
It was
complete
up there.
bust. Complete bust. Yeah.
You could throw
What about-
Seth
what about you
Benson
guys?
in that You throw said
Cedric
Benson,
Benson, yeah,
one too.
and it was very much a
Cedric
carbon
Benson.
copy. Yeah, that's a good one. I did not even think of him, but he's very much a carbon copy of Thurman or of Rashawn Salam.
Yeah.
What else?
Anthony in the chat throwing out Evan Neal. I think for
Evan
the
Neal's a good one,
that's
too.
Giants. Is that Giants? Is that the Evan Neal he's talking about? I don't know. Are you talking about the Giants, Evan Neal? That was the one that came to mind to me. I think it was like 7th overall pick or something like that for the Giants.
I'm thinking of a different deal. We had
maybe
again Homer. We had the
Giants.
Bears
Yeah,
had
Giants. That's right.
Giants. Okay, nice. Good
Well, that
Not to
transitioned into one of mine. No, go ahead. Ant.
Well,
Jason.
not to bring that down, but you know that Rashawn Salam has passed away back in 2016. I had no idea.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
No,
21st pick overall.
21st. Wow, that was lower than I thought. But whatever reason, what year was it?
You said 2016. You said
20. No, he passed in 2016.
Yeah, what year was he
that's what he
drafted?
was asking.
Oh,
Yeah.
95.
Yeah, 95.
95.
So yeah, I don't want to date myself, but it was pretty young me.
Yeah.
You guys.
Well, I don't know if Anthony is a Giants fan or not, but if so, cover your ears for a second, because one of my busts. I'll move it forward. It wasn't the first one I was going to say, but Kadarius Toney is a wide receiver that was drafted by the Giants a few years ago. That he was just absolutely plagued by the injury bug his rookie year, and he had like 1 or 2 games where he was like genuinely healthy, and he was lights out. Like
he still has a chance, though. Yeah, he's still in the league.
So he is another one of those where like he didn't get along with the coaching staff, and then it just all of his issues are between the ears because he is a freak athlete minus the injury bug. But
I was just gonna say
Chase Claypool, yeah. But Kadarius was man, I was really rooting for that guy.
Tony Brown.
And then he couldn't quite stay healthy. Then he got traded. I know he was played in parentheses and quotes a little bit for the Chiefs. I think he had like, what was it, 2 receptions and 1 rush for like -7 yards and a fumble loss or something like that. And then I think he's like a free agent right now. But that was someone that I picked up every chance I got in dynasty football, because when he was on the field, he was electric. He just couldn't stay on the field. So that was my first. I thought they had the tools and just didn't quite have it.
Jamarcus Russell. Yeah, you nailed
Jamarcus Russell's the poster child. Yeah,
pretty much
the poster child. Of
exactly.
Yeah.
If that's not your number one, but granted, I think I was a little hesitant to put him number 1 just because you said like that you enjoyed watching.
Right. Yeah.
The only reason
the same exact people. It's always like Jamarcus Russell.
Yeah.
It's David Carr, like the same old names, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was trying to come up with people that I actually enjoyed watching. I don't think I ever really enjoyed watching Jamarcus Russell. I was more the laughing from the sidelines that he was a bust. Not nothing against him, but
N'Keal Harry was another good one too.
Yeah, N'Keal Harry.
Pads.
I am gonna consider at this point, but another guy who has a potential, Justin Fields, to be a bust at this point. And it takes a lot of pride swallowing to say that, because I was a big. Anybody who's seen any of the other podcast episodes knows that I'm a apologist for Justin Fields.
Well,
he's the one that I absolutely loved watching him play, because I do think there was and still is some potential for him to kind of sort of revolutionize the way quarterback play, or not. I won't say revolutionize, because it's not like there haven't been mobile quarterbacks ever, but like kind of like make that shift towards like padding up a quarterback a little bit, get him some pads on there and let him, like I don't want to go full RPO. Like I'm not interested in making it a college game per se, but like roll, half the field be damned. Roll this guy out, make him suck the linebackers up. If he does, the guy's got an accurate cannon down the field, something that even our current quarterback situation is a little suspect in. But the guy can throw it on a dime down the field if he can let it go, and he's got enough time to let it go. He can get it down there and right where it needs to be. Yeah. And then if he doesn't get the linebackers to suck up, see ya, dude. 7-8 yards every time, if not, a gash.
Well,
play.
I mean, you're sitting talking about Jamarcus Russell and everything between the ears. Everything with Fields is between the ears.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
I think he's a product of the environment. Not saying that the Bears weren't good. I don't think they took advantage of his talents, and I think it led to him running more than he should have because he didn't. I mean, you have to say like he didn't have the pass protection that you would hope that a young quarterback developed.
No, he
would
did
have.
nothing.
But if he did,
exactly.
I still liked the idea of how he played. You know, even if he did have
had a
pass
top
protection,
5 season.
I still say roll like a lot of times he was rolling out to save himself from a sack.
Yeah.
But I would have rolled him out, you know, once 3 times every series, you know, if it was not assuming it's not a 4-down series, you know, I'd roll him out that much just because I really truly think, like, you know, everybody says, oh, you roll him out, you cut away half the field. He can get it back shoulder, like you can throw a back foot halfway across the field. Like I think it's more 3/4 if not like 4/5 of the field he could still hit if he rolled out.
You're going down. Okay, so we already have one of these guys. Lamar Jackson is the prototypical, right? Like just beast mode, just gonna ram it down the field, whether he's throwing it or running it.
And everybody, any franchise
MVP
out
seasons.
here, any franchise out here would take him.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying that you wouldn't, but there's so many others that have busted. I mean, say what you will, so Tim Tebow.
Yeah.
Right?
He was a little bit of that, for sure.
Definitely. Now, Tim Tebow wasn't going to make anybody miss, but he was going to make them hurt. That's for damn sure.
Yeah,
right?
I guess.
Like,
I guess you're right. Yeah.
So Taysom Hill is he's actually who I think, right, like Fields would ultimately end up probably being.
I don't. Yeah, I guess if you play him the whole time, like Fields is not. I'm not talking about Fields being a gadget guy coming in where it's very obvious that he's going to go option or some sort of derivative thereof. Every freaking down, I think every series you got to roll the same guy out there, and roll him out as much as you can. Get him in space where the linebackers have to. Again, it's like one of those things where it's like, make them make a play until like I'd keep doing it until you show me that as a linebacking core, you know what to do in those situations because I truly think he can get 6-7 yards any play he wanted to. We just never wanted him to do that. Like we always wanted him to sit in a pocket.
Do you think he could be more of like a Deebo Samuel role?
Kind of Deebo-ish, I guess. Yeah. That's not
just
a
like
bad
he could do running back, could be wide receiver, kind of move him around.
I mean, maybe, yeah, but like I wanted to see it more out of like the quarterback position where it's like, stop being pocket statues. You know, like even like everybody says, oh, Mahomes
I still think he could succeed in the quarterback position. Personally,
I do too. Yeah, I'm hesitant to call him a bust, but like it's gonna take. To me, it's going to take a coaching staff that buys into this narrative, like that I'm talking about. Like, put some rib guards on this guy, to where if he rolls out and he takes a hit, he's not gonna freaking crumble like a bag of saltine crackers. Just like and I think he even did wear rib guards. I want to say like halfway through the Chicago seasons, which I don't blame him for that either. You know,
if I were Caleb Williams, I'd start because I've seen him on the sideline in pretty rough shape.
Yeah. Of course.
So John asked a question. He said he wants to hear from the Bears fans. In 10 years from now, rank these three quarterbacks: Jaden Daniels, Drake May, but he said Drake May. Well, I'll take that up with him later. And then Caleb Williams. What do you think the order of those three in 10 years? What do you think that order is going to be? Best to worst. And this is where you're gonna put the homer aside, or you're gonna think statistically.
as a homer, I am not sold yet on Caleb Williams. I'm more sold than I was before. I'll give you that much. Mm-hmm. And I don't think I do. He's given me no reason to not like him. To me, it's all about just how bad can the Bears possibly bungle him. You know, like is really. All that it comes down to for me. This is scar tissue. That's because of your
Fields love. You're like, well,
it's a scar tissue.
So now you're gonna screw.
Yeah, well, yeah, too. and like the current.
I think that's lessons learned. No.
Yeah, the current regime gives me hope again. Like, there's so much hope that he could be that for me, but like, I don't know. Like, I'm just.
So what's your rank?
I
What's
guess
your
for
ranks?
it's because that's what sucks. Because it's
He's talking
I
around.
don't.
it
I
now.
also don't.
No,
I don't
come on.
think I'm talking
you
it out.
got-
I'm talking it out. I don't think.
All right.
I don't think Jaden Daniels is as good as everybody thinks he is.
Agreed.
And I've made this comment before about one Peyton Manning, and obviously, like I shouldn't even be allowed to podcast about sports for making that comment about Peyton Manning when he entered the league. But
We'll have
here
those calls.
here we are
We'll have
nonetheless. Yeah. And so I do not think that Jaden Daniels is as good as everybody says he is. I really just I don't buy it. I think he's good, but like again, the dude is a freaking cracker. He's gonna take one to the knee one of these days, and he's gonna be shook, and the whole thing's gonna come crumbling down.
I'm
I
glad
don't
you
know-
took that comment in a different direction because I wasn't sure where that one was going.
Yeah.
I didn't. That one went
disagree,
right over
actually.
my head. But thanks
Yeah.
for
Disagree.
thanks for bringing it back around. I appreciate it.
So I think my
I
personal
said
ranking.
cracker.
Yeah, my personal ranking. I think it is Jaden Daniels, Drake May, and then Caleb. Only because I say that
Fair
because
ranking.
I had Caleb or I had Drake May over Jaden Daniels
In the draft.
all preseason, all that stuff in the draft, everything like that. I had Drake May over Jaden Daniels because I was like, yeah, Jaden Daniels he's an athlete, right? He's a specimen, incredibly athletic. He's not nearly as polished. He's, like all that stuff. And then he came out and absolutely dominated. I thought he was going to be 2 or 3 years to develop, and then maybe he'll kind of be something. Out of the gate, dominant. I'm like, okay,
It's
well,
a fair-
all of my concerns was that he was raw. He may not develop into an NFL ready quarterback. Whereas Drake May was already kind of NFL ready when he came in, right? He's a more traditional pocket passer, big body, so he's not as fragile. Jaden Daniels, that was his whole thing is he was fragile in college, right?
We hoisted. First of all, like this. Now I'm getting to the point where
I
I'm
strike a
fired up.
chord.
We hoisted Jaden Daniels into the national narrative with that goddamn Hail Mary. Don't like he was okay. Maybe this guy's got something a little bit there, and then he goes on national TV and throws a goddamn Hail Mary that beats us, and then all of a sudden he becomes
He had to bring it up.
Jaden
Mr. Clutch.
Daniels. Yeah,
The man, the myth, the legend.
I don't buy it. I'm sorry. That
So-
you call it a homer take if you want, but I'm gonna stand
So,
here
all right,
today
so-
and say I don't think that he's that.
So
guy.
what's your three?
So now I'm sitting here doing the debate on do I put Drake May ahead of Caleb Williams? I do. I am gonna put take that back. I am gonna put Caleb Williams 1, but I want everybody to know I'm not putting him 1 because I believe in him. I still think that there's a lot of questions left unanswered. The homer in me can't put him ahead of Drake May, and I know that Jaden Daniels is not going to be as good as everybody thinks he is. That's
I'm pretty
my
sure Drew signed into YouTube to fight this because he's a
Still won 11
Washington
games
fan. He
without
said,
the Hail Mary.
"Whoa, still won 11 games without the Hail Mary."
Okay, fine. Sure.
So
but you
my
didn't
knock
get
on
it done in the
Jaden-
playoffs.
Right.
Did we ever get
My
around
knock
to
on
your
Daniels-
ranking?
Yeah, we did. We did.
Oh, okay.
It's Caleb Drake. Yeah, it's Caleb Drake and Jaden Daniels, which is
Gotcha.
I immediately don't like it. I'm just telling you right now. I immediately do not
that's-
like my ranking.
Yeah, I put Caleb first still. But I fully agree that's a homer pick, and I do believe Daniels is a hell of an athlete, but you look at the dude and he does not have an NFL
Frame.
architecture. Like he's gonna get injured.
That's what I mean.
The dude
Yeah, he's gonna get injured.
He looks like he's 80 pounds soaking wet.
And to be fair, I think anybody who's worth their salt in the NFL is
Insane
going to have
take.
to tell him that.
Anthony,
And-
you're right.
I'm with
You're right.
Anthony.
It is an
No.
insane take.
I'm with
Insane
Anthony.
take. That you're arguing that he's
You know
not
what though?
a
May
stick
hasn't
figure
put-
out there.
May hasn't put anything together to really make me believe that he's going to be the guy either, though.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
so I would definitely put Daniels. Daniels is right up there. And
May
yeah, I would
started
probably put
late, but he performed when he got in.
No, he did perform. He did
Yeah.
perform, but he wasn't nearly as consistent as Daniels was to Drew's point.
Yeah.
So I would statistically you got to put Daniels first. I would put Williams second. and
Caleb
May
one right
third.
now is crazy. Yes, Anthony. Yes, no, you're 100% correct. Like I said, I already hate my ranking, but I can't put Jaden Daniels first. Because I honestly just think he's a stick figure out there, and he's gonna get hurt unless somebody tells him that, like, somebody goes out and invests in an offensive line that puts the freaking the Chiefs to shame. Unless they do that,
He's got a good. His line ain't too bad. Not terrible.
it's not bad. It's not terrible, but they got to keep it that way for him to sustain success over the long term of his career. I feel like
If he had 68 sacks like Caleb did last year, he'd be in a morgue right now.
he would absolutely. Dude would be folded in half for sure.
Here's my thought on the 3, right? So Drake May has the highest floor, but the lowest ceiling. So he is the safest of all 3, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So because he's incredibly talented, is, like I said, pocket passer. He doesn't have the legs that Jaden Daniels does or anything like that. Jaden Daniels has the highest ceiling, but the lowest floor, because we talked about his frame. I mean, the best ability is availability, right? So if you're not on the field, you're not
on the
helping,
field,
right?
Exactly.
I feel like Caleb is right in that middle, right? So he's got the athletic traits to kind of do the things that Drake May can't. He's not as athletic as Jaden Daniels, but he's a little sturdier built, I think. So I think that's kind of my thought process on the 3, and that was the justification for my ranking.
Yeah, Jaden Daniels is going to be a good quarterback. Don't get me wrong. He will be.
All 3 of them are going to be good quarterbacks.
I think all 3 of them are going to be a quarterback. I think the future. I think between Burrow and Allen, like we've got there was that, you have that era, right? The Drew Brees, the Peyton Manning, the he who shall not be named. Like
Right.
You've got that like 5 or 6 that were there and dominant Brady there for a long time. And then there was a little bit of like, who's going to kind of take over the reins a little bit. Right. And then it was like Mahomes for a minute by himself. And then it was like, then Allen and and Burrow. And now this last draft class
Jackson
brought in 3. And Jackson, of course. Right. And then this, like, it feels like there's like those like 3 or 4 bunches where you can see like the future is bright. Right.
I know. I just cursed us. I know. Like this is
You
like
didn't.
reminiscent of like
there's plenty of curse to go around.
Your Bears fan is coming out.
I know.
Right.
This is reminiscent of 98. I told myself, do not put Caleb Williams first. You can't do that in this ranking.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
But I did it anyway.
Actually, let me tell you why I did it. Right?
Yeah, let me tell you why. No, like there's so many off the field things about Caleb Williams that I like, but there's a lot of off the field things I liked about Justin Fields too. I do think, like I loved how he handled the whole situation coming into the draft. I love how he handled the whole situation with the book that came out, where everybody was like, "Oh, by the way, his dad's over here trying to scheme for him to get out of the Bears drafting him." He, dude's been genuine every time he steps up to the mic. He's been himself. He said the things that he needed to say. It's really, to me, just all about on the field stuff. And like he showed everything he showed in college to me last year in the season. When it comes down to crunch time, dude figures out a way to get it done. He, there was so many plays. What do you got? Caleb taking the cake.
No, I was like, I think we could all agree
Prettiest
Caleb does have the prettiest nails in the NFL.
He does have the
I think
by far,
nails, right?
by far.
Right?
I think he
Do
takes
not
the
sleep
cake.
on the prettiest nails.
Right? Hey, you look good, you feel good, you play good, right?
That's right,
That's what my
right.
coach always used to say: look good, feel good, play good. But yeah, like he, like there were so many plays where he like willed us back into the game, and our head coaching or our entire coaching staff figured out ways to piss it away and screw him over. And, with the exception of the last game against Green Bay, where he just please.
What do they say about pitchers? Right? They got good stuff. He's got good stuff.
He's got good stuff.
Got the tools. He's got the tools.
In the things that we already knew that he had good stuff. The
He's
question
so
marks for me still are in the downfield stuff. Like yeah, he could throw dimes to Rome over the outside shoulder on routes, against the sidelines. Those plays made me absolutely geek out when I would see him drop dimes like that. But a 30-yard slant route across the middle that he should have hit, sails it, wide 9 times out of 10. Like, dude, like just hit those ones, please. Like the ones where they're open. But I'll take it.
He's too busy trying not to die.
Fair, but that's what everybody said he could do. Like he was the guy to come in there and figure out how to
It's
make
next
that
level though when you have stone cold assassins trying to take your head off. So
you're right. But,
we've only got a couple of minutes left, but we'll get into some more fantasy football takes next week. But I have Roma Dunze as someone that I think takes a step forward this year.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
I agree.
He needs to.
But as far as fantasy goes, you're going to be facing the same problem you did with the Lions, right? Everybody's got to eat, and that ball's going to get spread around. So unfortunately, Dunze's going to get his share, but
it's going to go up, I think, for him because he can't. We're going to lose. We obviously lost, or there's still rumors that we may, if he didn't sign. But we lost. What's his name? The Chargers' old wide receiver.
You lost Allen.
We lost
Allen.
Yeah. Allen's gone.
Yeah.
Well,
no, I know.
As
like
much as
he's signed
I love
though,
the
right?
Bears, I don't know that I would say that you guys are overabundant with the weapons that Detroit has between Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, Laporta. You've got Gibbs and David Montgomery.
Yeah.
Like, you guys got some weapons. Don't get me wrong, but I would say that your running back game isn't the same.
Rome has. Yeah, no, you're right.
To be fair, neither are the Bengals. So,
no. It's not. Yeah, we're not going to go like tit for tat on running back. But
no, for sure.
Like they drafted that Monin guy, dude. I think he's got some potential to make the roster, and he could be kind of the guy out of the backfield a little bit as well too. But
he's going to make it.
Yeah, no, he's definitely going to make it for sure. Yeah, with the way the running back room is right now, he's definitely making it. But like, I think he's the guy that they're looking for to be that guy out of the backfield to be the extra receiver. I just think like DJ's DJ, he's going to get like his plays, and his plays are going to kind of be scattered about. Some of the end arounds, some of the like kind of gadgety stuff, the yak type stuff, give him the ball 5 yards in space, let him make some plays. But losing Allen means that I think Rome has to be that dependable guy that's going to get you chunk yardage when you need chunk yardage. Like you can't let that be DJ, because DJ has to be the guy who does some of the more yak kind of stuff, and then you've got, I'm really I think this is where 12 man's going to be big for us. Like splitting the seams with two guys on the and tight ends. We could, if you got to respect both tight ends, somebody's going to be open, in that scenario, I feel like. And
sure.
As long as the four guys and the running back can hold on friggin', the front line, if we can get a slot tight end and then a releasing tight end at the same time, that could be big, and I think there's plenty. I do think that there's weapons, but I agree with you wholeheartedly that the Dunze has to be the guy to fill. There's gaps to fill, and he's the guy I think that's going to fill it. I think everybody else can play.
He's got the weapons. Yeah,
everybody else can play the same way they played last year, and everything will be fine for the Bears in all of their positions. Dunze is the one that's going to have to step up and fill Keenan Allen's shoes, so he has the biggest potential, in my opinion, on the Bears offense to take
that step forward. Yeah, I think so, and I think honestly, I think it's going to help more too, right? Because as he develops and kind of comes into his own here, I think he's going to pull some of that.
That's the beauty.
Some of that attention away from more, right?
Exactly. That's the beauty about it is that if you start to press more, he still has the ability to burn you in a deeper route. Like he's not just a guy who has to do end arounds or just a guy who has to take the flat pass and try to make two guys miss. He can still, you could throw it deep to him if you needed to and stuff. So.
Mm-hmm. And as we're wrapping up here, as we're wrapping up here, any excitement about any of the, how the MLB playoffs are shaping up, or any all-star selections?
Yeah, no, I'm super pumped about the all-star selections. Are you kidding me? Yeah, we just got the third one added. We got Kyle and PCA on the Kyle and PCA on the starting roster.
Yeah,
Like,
there you go.
dudes
Yeah,
are.
we got Ellie De La Cruz. I think some of that, as much as I love
He's
Ellie,
great.
I've got 2 of his jerseys.
Yeah.
He's an absolute specimen. Part of me feels like that is more of a name thing. It's like watching him day in and day out. He breaks my heart, and it's like an abusive relationship. He is an absolute beast. He'll win us the game, and then he'll go 0 for 4 with 4 strikeout. Like
Sure.
it's he is feast or famine, all or
Feast
nothing.
or famine, yeah.
But and it's funny because I think the thing that everyone always like holds against him is actually one of his biggest strengths. They always talk about he like always like leads the league in like in errors and all that stuff. It's like, but he also they did a stat the other day. It's like he gets to 60% more plays than the next best guy because he's so long, he's so fast. So therefore, he has more like when he's doing getting these errors, it's on these like plays that no one else would have even got to begin with.
Right.
So
that's kind of
like,
how
like
PCA
the
is for
best
us.
Fifth best defensive player in all of MLB, but he was also like second most in errors. It's like, well, because he gets the 60% more than anybody else.
Yeah. Right? Yeah, if you get an error on, like, that should be a stat. Like, I know they were talking about this. What did I hear? They were talking about, what was it? Shit, there was some stat they were talking about removing in MLB. Oh no, it was NFL. They're talking about removing
the freaking umpire. Like,
no. They're talking about removing.
Turn me into an NBA. AI fan.
It was NBA. Yes. Now I've hit everything, and I'm definitive on this one. It was the NBA. They're talking about removing. This is ridiculous, first of all, but they even have to talk about this. They're removing the half court shot from player stats in the NBA because they're afraid
negatively impacts their shot percentage.
They're afraid that guys in the NBA are afraid to take heaves from half court because they don't want to negatively impact their stats. So they're talking about, like, after a certain point, like if you heave it, it's not going to count against your stats. So, like, again, to your point about Ellie, it's like, and I wholeheartedly agree. Ellie is freaking insane. Like, dude's nasty. If he's getting an error on a play that has a 0.1% chance of him being caught, like, that sucks because it's a negative impact on his stats, but nobody else is getting to that ball. Same thing with PCA. Like PCA he's an outfielder. He literally caught a ball on a 0% chance the other day. It had a 0% chance of being caught based on historical data, and dude caught it. And he's been hovering around that, like, 0 to 1 to 2% chance where he catches all those balls, and it's like there's a few that he drops, but the dude's going to get dinged for that because he drops a few. Nobody else is getting to that ball.
Right.
So now you know what they're going to have, with all this AI going on and all the tech, they're going to distance to close or something like that they're going to start keeping track of.
I mean, they do keep cool. Play difficulty, right? So, I mean, it was the same thing like Ellie earlier in the season. I think he ran down a pop-up from short. It was like 60 something feet from from the shortstop all the way over to like just behind third, and he was full speed, like just sprinting. And it was like the fact that he closed that gap was outrageous. But it was
Sean in the chat. There's literally no reason for an NFL umpire or an MLB umpire.
MLB,
yes, 100% agree.
I agree.
And I think we covered that a little bit in the last episode. So if you're bored or something, watch the last episode because we talked about the same thing. There's no reason for umpires. They need to go back they need to go straight away.
Is that
to
a hot take?
I don't think so.
A little bit.
Don't.
So I think it is because specifically of all sports, like baseball is untouchable. It is tradition. It is, this isn't baseball kind of thing, And I feel like baseball, more than almost any sport, is very hesitant to make any change like that, especially if it were something because they always say like the human element is part of baseball, right? So like if you take out the human element, you're losing part of it. But then after some of the horrific game-changing calls that we've seen over the last few years, again, going back to Angel Hernandez, probably the most hated official of all time, just showed how much they can impact a game like that. We have the technology to do so. I love that they've introduced the challenge. Like, I think that was a great addition. But I agree at this point. I mean,
It's
I'm all for just, we've got the technology, get them out of there.
and like that's what the technology does though too. Like the technology is working in favor of the technology. Like I've noticed, and we touched a little bit about this on the last episode, but they put out like umpire analytics reports at the end of the game.
Yeah.
And like of course I've watched some games where I'm like, damn, this umpire's just like just letting anything go, or he's like, oh, it's super tight. But when they start putting out those reports, you read those as a fan, and you're like, how does this guy even have a effing job? Like he's terrible at his job. Like he blew, like 70, or he blew like 30% of the calls. Like, like that kind of data makes you think, why are we even bothering with these guys if they're going to, like the average consumer of baseball will sit there and watch and be able to pick out 3 or 4 pitches and be like, oh, this ump's not having a great day today, and it's really killing my team. But now they're just like, look, you can rank him against every other umpire right now and realize there's a pattern of behaviors that shows you this guy doesn't know what the F he's talking about.
Well, think of was it Yamamoto who threw an immaculate inning
the immaculate weeks ago? Yeah, you were talking about that.
And it got robbed because, I mean, it was I dead center, like maybe halfway up between, like 2/3 of the way up. Like, it was 8 inches inside the strike zone. Like, and they didn't give it to him because, humans. But like, I do think Anthony has a point though. It's like they won't do it because pitchers rely too much on pitcher friendly zones, and if they start really cracking down on strike zones, then you're going to see pitchers start pulling back, right? And they're not going to hit 103, 104 miles an hour. They're going to be hitting like 98, 99 because they're going to try to like hit it inside the strike zone. And I think you're going to see less. Like obviously the breaking stuff, it's a mental game, right? So I mean,
that's fine to me though. I'd rather see a 7.
They don't want it to negatively impact the product on the field.
Sure, but I'd rather see a 7-6 game where the pitcher's just having to serve up a couple meatballs to get him in the zone, gets knocked around out of the park, than some like pitcher's duel where like the worst to me is where a guy pitches an absolute gem and then some like terrible like strike or whatever ends up with a walk, and the next thing you know the guy gets bunted around or some small ball thing happens, some weird quirk happens, and he ends up losing the game because of that. I'd rather see pitchers, like baseball is a game of like failure. Let's be honest. Like you look at good batting percentages are 300, 400. That's terrible. So like I'm not necessarily saying we need to like see more home runs or anything like that, but it's like maybe we can think about putting the pressure on the pitchers to actually hit the zone a little bit more, and then when they do that, if that leads to higher scoring games, win-win in my opinion.
Yeah. Dustin had a great point, and it goes to what we said last week when we kind of briefly talked about it. He said even cricket has automatic video reviews for outs. And I said the same thing, like tennis has been doing that forever.
Tennis is great at that, yeah.
Right, tennis has been crushing that, and they've got the technology. Why would you not use it,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think, again, not to rehash all the same things we talked about, but it's like, can you bring that to market for every team subsidized by the league, I think is the big thing.
It's the financial burden. Can all the small market teams afford it? Because we know the LAs, the New Yorks, we know they can, and they will.
But how many missed calls in critical situations is it going to take to change for people not to show up and for it to actually start to affect people's bottom line?
I think that's a big that's a big if for sure. That's the great question. I don't think it would ever get so egregious to the point where like I'm just not going to show up to the ballpark. So there's no real pressure per se to do that, but it's just getting with the times. Like MLB took a very early lean into the advanced stats, and I think that's proven pretty beneficial to them as well too. So to me, I feel like they got a chance, but
so
be
delayed
pioneers.
On the tech, which is funny,
right?
Because they're leaning into the stats,
but not the tech.
They're lagging on the tech. Yeah, I completely agree.
Well,
Banana ball should be the wake up call
Yeah.
that MLB needs.
it
I
should.
mean, definitely as far as engagement and entertainment goes, because I mean, they're hitting a crowd that I don't think a lot of people knew existed, and they paved their own way. But it's
Absolutely.
it's
wild.
we got you expand the strike zone, then you go back to the early '90s when Greg Maddux and Tom Glavine barely hit the outside batter's box, and we're being awarded strikes. It was terrible. Yeah, no. Like again, that's the thing. It's like to me, a strike should be a strike, and you shouldn't get it because you're Glavine or Maddux. You know, like you shouldn't get those things. Like that's not. Like Gladden and Maddux can.
Gladden, nice.
Glavine and Maddux.
Gladden and Maddux. There.
Judging by this half-empty bottle of Cavassier, it's time for me to go.
another callback.
Yeah. No, Glavine and Maddux can get strikes without that. They can, like it was just bad pitches that they got because of the guys who they were, like I wholeheartedly agree.
You're touching on the whole thing. It's back to NFL. It's the whole quarterback pass interference deal. It's the same thing.
Oh yeah, protecting the elites. Yeah,
protecting the elites. Yep. Yeah,
letting others get absolutely destroyed. Tom Brady.
Get rid of that stuff.
Tom Brady.
Right. Right.
We covered way too much Patriots today. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
right.
It's
from
too much.
It was in the beginning, it was in the middle, and now it's at the end. Just stop with the Patriots.
It's come full circle.
Yeah,
that's,
I'm moving the helmet. It's been called out too many times.
There we go. I got the space background. It looks like I'm in space right now.
Yeah, right.
There's the moon.
But all right, boys. Good. Well, I mean, we're just past 76 minutes, so I mean, for our first real podcast, I think it went well.
Not too bad.
Appreciate everybody in the chat helping. Throwing in their comments. That always makes it easier when you got some conversation going on. But appreciate everyone hopping in, especially.
Thanks for all the engagement. You guys have been great. We're the Just a Bit Outside podcast. We've been doing this for a little bit, about 10 episodes now. So thanks to everybody who's kind of stuck around with us, but
shaking off the rust, getting the kinks out.
Yeah, I think we got something that's kind of fun. Hope you guys agree. We'll keep doing this probably on Thursday nights. I think is going to be our kind of night going forward. And so everybody knows we're all football guys. So kind of obvious by some of that content. So we're talking about like it's July 6th right now, which means it's the worst freaking
time.
We're ramping up into football.
Yeah,
so,
right. Exactly. So we can work through the kinks with you guys through that. But yeah, I had fun. How about you guys? Anything else?
Yeah, great.
Anything else left to say?
Appreciate not only everyone coming, but also everyone staying, because I think we had a pretty consistent viewership the entire thing. So that's the hardest thing. So appreciate y'all sticking out with us.
I did not get a chance to talk about my NBA bust. So at some point in the future, little teaser, I'll talk about the biggest NBA. Well, bust is a little bit of a harsh word, but the biggest NBA dude that I wanted to win so badly, and you're gonna have no idea who it is. Anybody who wants to guess, please try to guess right now.
Do it in the comments.
Let me know who you think it is. I guarantee you will be shocked at who the guy I'm talking about is. So a little teaser for some episode in the future. For next week,
if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Like the comment, subscribe. Help us kind of get this thing going up. Now that we kind of we've gotten it where we're comfortable to start promoting it. Likes and subscribes, those are the fastest way to kind of get us out there.
Even downvotes. If you don't like it, downvote it because that's engagement.
John, don't downvote. don't give him a weapon.
I don't even care. All right, guys. Well, it was great chatting, and we will see you maybe next week on Thursday. We'll see. But if not, we'll see you real soon. Take care, everybody.
Right. See you guys.
Appreciate y'all. Cheers.
Bye.